Herzlich willkommen.
6 senators, Wojciech Ziemniak, Halina Bieda, Benjamin Godiola, Eva Matecka from Civic Coalition, Piotr Maslovsky from the Third Way and Piotr Wozniak from the New Left appeared at the German Bundesrat. They attended a meeting of the German Federal Council and later all took a commemorative photo with Saxony Prime Minister Michael Kretschmer and Mecklenburg Prime Minister Manuela Schwesig. Saxon Prime Minister Michael Kretschmer is associated with supporting German-Russian interests. After the destruction of Nord Stream, he said, "There is absolutely no reason why we should not start work now on securing and repairing this pipeline." Manuela Schwesig is called Gerhard Schroeder in a skirt in Germany because of her ties to Russia and the German-Russian Nord Stream and Nord Stream 2 projects.
This
This is not a politician who is friendly to us, by the way. She stated that it will be possible to talk to Poland now when the new coalition government begins. And as you can see, unfortunately, she was right. The moment the Americans imposed sanctions on this pipeline, Manuela Schwesig, along with Gazprom, set up a supposedly environmental foundation that was supposed to care about environmental protection, but actually making sure that these sanctions did not reach the builders of Nord Stream. This is about the climate foundation Stiftung Klimaschutz, officially dedicated to promoting environmentalism.
Miała dwie części. Część jawną I część tajną.
It had an overt part and a covert part. The covert part simply dealt with the hiring of ships and the completion of Nord Stream 2. The overt part functioned as an official foundation. Despite the sanctions imposed on Nord Stream 2, construction was completed. When it came to light that the foundation's account had received €200 million from Gazprom, it explained in the spotlight, "The decision in favour of the foundation was adopted with the votes of the SPD-CDU and the left without opposition in the state parliament. At the time, we clearly explained the tasks and opportunities of this foundation." The Polish political class, regardless of which side of the political dispute, should be concerned with Polish interests. If it gives credence to the chairwoman of the German Bundesrat, and if it talks to a man who is clearly against Polish interests, it shows something. In my opinion, it shows a lack of reason. The question is, isn't there more to the recent visits of the new government senators to the Bundesrat? The current speaker of the Sejm, Szymon Hołownia, even before the election said, "I would very much like to have the best possible relations with Russia as well, because it is our neighbour. Only that I know that this will not be an easy road. Very many before me have tried to walk this road. There were many stumbling blocks. This will not be a process that will be accomplished with one gesture or 2 words or 1 meeting. It will be years of conversations and years of meetings."
Nawet w sile wieku, mając 90...
Even at the age of 92, veteran of General Anders' army were able to make it to the 80th anniversary celebration of the Battle of Monte Casino, as it is a very important holiday for them. All the more saddening was the fact that neither the Prime Minister, nor the Minister of Defence, nor their representatives were present during this celebration. Why and how badly could this lower the morale of the Polish army? Today, I investigated. The result? Fanfare. Our dearest heroes of Poland. This is the beginning of President Andrzej Duda's speech at Monte Casino. The head of state, head of the armed forces, stressed that the most important people during such ceremonies are its heroes, those who fought at Monte Casino, and it is to them, above all, that tribute and remembrance should be paid. Captain Krzysztof Flizak is the youngest of General Anders' soldiers, today a veteran, present at Monte Casino. I was very mortified to be invited to the celebration, and this is the 80th anniversary of the battle, which I remember well. 80 years ago, I went through all this history from the remote northern Taiga to forming the army of General Anders. The absence of government representatives at the 80th anniversary of the battle, victorious for Poland, stung until it stung. There was basically no government representative at a senior level. The presence of only the Deputy Foreign Minister at such a ceremony is simply disrespectful. Many representatives of the previous government were at the ceremony. This year we had our 80th anniversary, the last one, let's be honest, with the presence of our heroes, veterans. The absence of basically anyone from the government was widely commented on during this ceremony. There was the President of Poland, the President of Italy, there was even the Minister of National Defence of New Zealand.
Cześć I chwała bohaterom.
During the ceremony marking the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Monte Casino, Polish President Andrzej Duda called for lessons to be learned from history. Russian imperialism is always the same, criminal, cruel and ruthless, he said. And this is also why, regardless of the reasons, the absence of government representatives is highly symbolic. In the language of diplomacy, the absence of the head of the Ministry of Defense from the celebrations can even mean a downgrading of the event. Fortunately, the head of the armed forces, the president himself, was present. But what about the morale of the soldiers? The problem of the loneliness of those who fight for independence in all conditions has a long tradition, and it is also a symbolic issue. Something happened in Poland such that this cannot continue. Veterans are our heroes. They do not complain, and the lessons of how to give them the honor they deserve should be learned by those in power. Edyta Hołdyńska, TV Republika. As Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky marks 5 years in power on Monday, the prospect of reaching a peace deal with Russia after more than 2 years of war remains distant. In 2019, Zelensky, a comedian with no political experience, competed against former President Petro Poroshenko and won the second round of the election with a 73% of the vote. He came into politics as a political novice who tapped into an anti-establishment mood among Ukrainians who had decided that they were fed up with the existing politicians. On the 20th of May 2019, Zelensky was sworn in by the country's parliament. The next election was due to be held in March this year, but the vote has been postponed indefinitely because of the war. Over the past 2 years, Russia's invasion of Ukraine's resistance have propelled President Volodymyr Zelensky to global significance. Refusing to leave Kiev at the outbreak of the war, Zelensky rallied his compatriots and his approval ratings soared. During the invasion of the Muscovites, that's how I call them, Volodymyr Zelensky did not leave Ukraine. Instead, he stayed in Kiev. This is already a big plus, that he didn't run away. He could have escaped, but he stayed and did not abandon Ukraine. The world respects him. Volodymyr Krivetsky, who voted for Zelensky's rival Petro Poroshenko back in 2019, is now selling Ukrainian president-themed gifts. As the war ran into its third year, support for the president has dipped, but according to the Kiev International Institute of Sociology, his approval has stabilized at 60 to 65%. Anton Hrushetsky, executive director of the institute, said the situation on the battlefield and fight against corruption were the two main factors influencing public opinion. According to Hrushetsky, the majority of Ukrainians, from 70 to 80%, were of the mind it was right not to hold elections during wartime, and Zelensky remained a legitimate head of state. Reuters talked to 5 individuals in Lviv, Kryvyi Rih, Kiev and Sloviansk about how their perception of Zelensky has changed since 2019. I voted for Zelensky. I definitely wanted change. I'm telling you once again, I support democracy, which like all else comes with mistakes. How did our president change during these 5 years? He surely became stronger. He's a quick learner. Look, it's easy to criticize anyone, but history will be the judge of everything. Mr. Zelensky conducts the right policy, but he's just as human as you and me. If he makes a mistake, it doesn't mean he's bad. I can see that he tries hard for the benefit of Ukraine. He asks for the weapons we need. He never rests. It's evident from his appearance that he never rests. This is the right attitude, the way it should be in a country at war. He is a real commander-in-chief, a genuine patriot. There are things I respect President Volodymyr Zelensky for as an individual and as a professional that built a successful career in show business, as a person that has enough strength and courage to govern a country in these harsh times. But it seems that there could be an alternative scenario for our country to develop had we had a different president in the past, or with a different one in the future. Over the course of the war, he transformed from a showbiz manager into a strong, influential person, respected worldwide. That's 100%, a respected person with whom the leaders of other countries compare themselves. 4 out of 5 poll by Reuters said that if there were elections, they would vote for Zelensky, adding that they believed he would successfully bring the war to an end. Dozens of 4-legged surfers and their human companions hit the beach in northern Spain over the weekend for a surfing competition with a difference, the annual European Dog Surfing Championship. Baloo and Ghost, a pair of Weimaranas, confidently shredded the waves with their owner, 13-time Spanish body surf champion Deva Martin Solar. The more the dog goes into the water, the more he gets used to it and the more fun he has in the water. So, well, I think it's good for the dog to go into the water with the owner. And if you love surfing, creating that bond with the dog is really nice. Chocolate-coloured Labrador Koa and her owner, Juan Manuel Santiago, were crowned the winners of the 3rd annual championship, held at the La Concha beach of Suanz in the coastal region of Cantabria. Veronica Lambrana brought her Schnauzer Kai surfing for the first time. They had a small scare after being dumped into the water while riding a wave. Lambrana said it was fun anyway. Kai had no comment. Manuel Calvo from the pet food company Dengonatora, organisers of the event, said the event has a serious aim, promoting dog adoption and discouraging pet abandonment by showing off a fun way to bond with your pooch.